Right, finally got my hands on a MDS2, and in this video I'm going to attempt to show you how to use IMG2MDS. Just see what we've got here. So we've got standard MDS2. Let's draw the camera down a bit. This one's got an IPC in it, so it's 8085 based, but the IPB 8081 will work much the same. Go down a bit further. Should have got a light on there. We've got a double density disk controller board set in here. We've got a 202 adapter, which you've seen in previous videos. If we go up to here, I've got the SA800 adapter, as you've seen previously. Anything to note at this stage is if you are using this adapter, of course, the radial ready link for drive 0 needs to be off. Otherwise the machine won't boot into the monitor. So that's that. So the question now is, how do we get it to run IMG2MDS? And fortunately it's fairly straightforward. Let me just grab another back panel. Alright. There we go. Hopefully you can see that okay. Down a little bit. Right, first thing you need to do is unplug your keyboard from here, and then we need to plug into serial channel 2 with our serial cable, which I'll show you in a minute. When you unplug the keyboard, it effectively changes this to the same behaviour as an MDS 800. So what will happen is the normal console on the screen, it won't do anything basically. But what the machine will then do is it will start scanning serial channel 1 and serial channel 2. Exactly the same as the MDS 800 does, and this is TTY and this will be CRT. So it really is as simple as that. Right, let's just have a look at the cable details. Right, this is the cable. Let's go up a little bit. Right, I'm referring to a 25-way D connector here, number wise. So this is your PC or terminal. If you're using a 9-way, that'll be 3, that'll be 2, and that'll be 5. So we've got transmit on the terminal going through to receive on the MDS, and we've got receive on the terminal being driven by transmit on the MDS end. And you notice they're twisted over. We've got common around 7, and we've got request to send and clear to send loop back to each other. That is important because there's no link on the machine as by default. There is only one slight fly in the ointment, that over here, if you can see it okay, I'll get a little bit more light there. There's a bunch of jumpers. Now these affect the wiring of the serial ports. If your machine hasn't been messed around with since it left Intel, then everything will be fine. If you do have any problems, have a look in the manual because it lists all these wire wrap links. Right, let's get that out of the way. Now what we need to do now is get ready for starting everything up this end. So what I'll do is I'll turn the floppy drives around and power them up. Right, let's move that around, power that up, and I'll power up the MDS. Turn the light off so you can see what's happening. The serial cable's already in the back of the MDS, by the way. Takes a few minutes to warm up, and we should see a little cursor appear. There it is, a sort of faint glow appearing there. Right, there you go, you get a little cursor there. So what it's doing now, it's simply just waiting to initialize one of the serial ports. So we're all done this end, so we'll pop over to the PC and carry on from there. Right, we're back over at the PC. I've set Terra term up to 2400 baud, so we'll just check that. So check the serial port. There you go. So that's the default for serial 2. The MDS is running. All it's waiting for now is the spacebar to be pressed on either the teletype or the CRT, and the CRT is serial 2. So if I press spacebar, it signs on. At this stage it's pretty much exactly the same as the MDS 800. This is where you need to put the bootloader code in, as I did previously. I did put it in a little bit earlier before I rebooted it, so I'm hoping it's still in there, so we'll just have a little look. Just to save you the agony of watching me type it all in again. It looks fine. That's exactly the same code as we used on the MDS 800. That's in the boot.prn file. If you look at the previous video, you'll see me typing it in. So what we're going to do is run the bootloader. So I'll do go 3000, and then we'll send the hex loader. So we do send file, make sure it's set to binary, and we need to find hexload.bin, which is that one there. There we go. Right, we're in the loader now. We now need to load the serial port, baud rate alteration routine, and IMG2MDS. So we'll do hex load, and I'll do file, send file. We'll send it the serial one first. Now be careful when you do this that you get the right one. It's the RS232-2.hex for the MDS II, so I'll send that one. Okay, and we'll send IMG2MDS as well. So we do file, send file, IMG2MDS.hex. There we go. Takes a little bit longer. Seems to be progressing okay. Right, they're both in memory now, so we exit out of the loader. Now the first thing to do is run the baud rate alteration routine. So we do that by doing go 1000. Oh, you notice it's, so we need to change our baud rate now to 19200. Go. We should hopefully get our prompt back. There we go. Now we run IMG2MDS by typing go 4000. There we go. Right, I'm just going to go over and pop the disk in. Right, I've popped the disk in, and I've also put the link on the radial ready strap for drive 0. So we'll do drive 0 by pressing 1, and we'll format. Hopefully that disk is formatting now. Yeah, that seems to be progressing okay. Should be ready any minute now, I think. There we go. Right, now we've got to send our disk image file. Now at this stage what I've done, let me show you, I've provided a new image. This will be on the Google Drive, and it's called somewhere, where is it there, that one there, IMG2MDS.img. Now that file, let me get that running. That image file contains the disk-based version of IMG2MDS and both serial alteration routines. I'll demonstrate those when this is finished, and that saves you, once you've done your initial boot from sort of nothing and having no disk available. And that will allow you to quickly run IMG2MDS from ISIS, so you can produce other disks from that point. So what I'll do, I'll skip till the end of this, otherwise you'll be looking at this for another 6 or 7 minutes. Okie dokie. Right, just getting towards the end now. Any minute now. Okay, looks like we're all finished. Right, at this stage you must remember to reset the baud rate if you're going to carry on with a serial. So what I'll do is go to set up serial port. You need to go back to 2400. Okay, right, I'll hit reset on the MDS. And I'll hit spacebar, and this time hopefully it should boot from disk. And there we go, ISIS 4.3. Now on this boot disk, not only is ISIS, caps lock key down, you'll notice a few extra files as well. We've got IMG2MD, obviously there's only 6 letters in ISIS, so everything looks a bit weird. So IMG2MD is IMG2MDS. RS232 is as it was, that's for the MDS 800, and RS232 is for the MDS II. Right, so if you wanted to produce another disk, it's really easy now because everything's on disk. You haven't got to type anything in. So the way to do it is run your appropriate serial baud rate selection routine. We're on MDS II, so we're going to run this one. So we do RS2322. That'll run. You see we've got a bit of garbage there because the baud rate's changed. So we go up here and we change the baud rate to 19200. Hopefully we should get a prompt back, which we do, and now we just run IMG2MD. So there you go, you're straight in, no problem, nice and quick. Obviously creating the disk isn't any quicker, but that's just one of those things at the moment. There will hopefully be a faster version of IMG2MDS later in the year. The problem with it is that the main issue with the speed is the X modem code, and I'm going to change that to the ISIS FTrans code. The problem with that is I've got to write the code for the MDS end and the PC end, so it's going to take a bit of time. But it's IMG2MDS it is the only software that's available that will take you from having absolutely no disk whatsoever. All it's going to cost you is a serial cable, which on an MDS 800 you'll have anyway. So it is still really useful. I use it a lot for making up other disk images as well. I don't just use it for bootstrap processes. It does take 6 to 7 minutes, but when you think how long it would take you to copy all those files with something like Kermit or something like that, it's still pretty quick. So there you go. So that's how to use IMG2MDS on a MDS II. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and I shall see you next time.